Hello, yes, me, the guy with the YouTube channel. So anyways, today we are continuing the G-Fest 22 reviews with the first figure I got on Saturday, the Bandai Kiryu 2003 drill arm version. I don't have the tag, and in case you're wondering, this is the 8-inch version. So, obviously no tag. Let's get on to the detail. I'll just do the usual focus. There we go. Oh, jeez. Yeah, sorry if the camera wobbles a lot. I have it stacked on DVDs, this review, because this is kind of a tall figure. But you can see the detail for a Kiryu figure is okay. And paint job as well. The silver looks alright. It is a darker silver than the original 2002 8-inch Kiryu, which is good. You can see detailing on the bottom of the feet. You got all the thrusters, the back. One complaint I have with this figure is that the front parts on the black tubing parts are nice, shiny, glossy black. Really pops out, stands out from the rest of the figure. The back, the black parts are this kind of dull gunmetal gray that's very lightly sprayed on, so I mean, like the backs of his thighs and the tail, those are painted, unlike other Kiryus, but not very well. It is a minor gripe, and you're not going to be looking at the back of the figure like, oh, I love the detail on the back, it's so much better than the front. Although there are some figures that I like that, but they still look good from the front. Anyways, and you can see these arrows don't have the little silver triangles in them, but that's okay. Knee pads. Hips are a little small for the figure. They're about the size of a 6-inch Kiryu's hips. So they should be bigger, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really mess up the look of the figure anyways. Legs are in a fairly basic stance. This is the same body type that's been used on 8-inch Kiryus from Bandai since 2002. So really the only new parts on this one are the chest and arm, and maybe a few minor differences here and there. Yeah, you can see there's a nice crotch shot for the ladies. Anyways, you can see there, it's pretty nice. Got the drill arm, the drill, not really much of a drill, more of a spike that spins. But hey, Daikaiju. That's a horrible excuse anyways. You can see it's fairly nicely detailed all around. Looks like a reformed hand. You can see the turbines, a little bit of red in there. The tubing, which should be black. The tubing on there, if you can yeah, you can see it about there. It's black as well, which that looks good, but the tubing on his other arm, the real arm, is black, but only... Jeez, how am I going to show this? Only the inside is black. You can't really see it, but... You can't really see it, I'll just say that. But it is black, but from head on, when you have the arm down, it looks silver because only the inside is sprayed black, so... It looks a little odd. You can see the detail. This figure I do have signed, as you can see on his chest, on the Hypermazer doors, by Masaki Tezuka, the director, and on the back there by Noboru Kaneko, who played Chujo in the movie. Yeah, their signatures are kind of fading, just because this paint, I don't think, picked up their markers very well, so... Yeah, I mean, they don't smudge off when you touch them, but they are slowly fading, so I probably should have got a theater exclusive one or something like that sign, just because that one doesn't have the silver paint that doesn't pick up markers very well. Anyways, you can see the head. It's pretty good. That little spot right there should be red, but it's too small to paint. His mouth is accurately half open. The bottom teeth are, it's kind of hard to see, but they are individually sculpted, but the upper teeth aren't, and if you squeeze his head to kind of open his mouth a little bit, you won't find any detail inside. It's kind of a bummer, but you're not really supposed to see inside his mouth, and the head is inaccurate, because he has the drill arm, but he doesn't have the damaged eye and cheekbone area. There is a Toys Dream project of this guy with a damaged head, which that one's more accurate. And going to the back again, pretty basic. You know, you got the bad spray there, but at least they painted that part of the figure. The boosters are different than the 2002 one. They have the lines on them and the black parts. You can see there's Noboru's signature again. Here's some copyright. And just going down to the tail. Pretty basic detail. So, overall, detail, it's pretty good and pretty basic. So for articulation, the head can turn 360. Not that you would need it to go 360, but it's cool, it can do that. The one arm can go 360, but the other arm, this is kind of an awkward figure to show here. Let me pull back a little bit. You can see, you rotate it, and it just hits up against this little waist tube there, so you gotta pull it to the side and then move it the rest of the way, so a little annoying, but just a little thing to be wary of. And the drill can spin. It's looser than the other joints, but it's not like do that and it spins around really crazy. It just kind of spins. Not a whole lot of purpose to it, but it's cool that they gave us that joint, unlike the 6-inch version of this guy. And the waist can not move 360 at all. This spine, even though it's a separate piece, hits up against this spine and the other one there, so that stops it from being able to move. So you're not going to get any motion out of that. The tail, oh yeah. The tail can go 360, well, kind of, before it can get the rest of the way it hits this spine, but just pull it down and then rotate it and you can get it past. And finally, this point in the tail rotates. A little pointless, and I have seen some where they get loose and sag. Thankfully this one isn't that loose, but just be aware when you're buying a Kiryu to make sure it's in best condition. It doesn't have melted parts. Anyways, so articulation, pretty basic, and for sizing, this is going to be a little hard to show because, well, his tail is taking up quite a bit of space, so I'm going to have to hold the back parts of the figures when they come in. So, anyways, here he is with my repainted bootleg Godzilla 2003. Now, this isn't very accurate. Godzilla 2003 should be about that big, but seeing as this is a bootleg figure with the body of 2003 and the head of 2002, he's a little smaller. The bootlegs are always usually smaller than the official figures because they're just casted off the actual thing. So, yeah. They still look good together, but I don't display an official figure with a bootleg. This thing hides in shame. And like I said, it's a bootleg, so that's why I repainted it. I didn't repaint a perfectly good Godzilla. Anyways, next, here is an 8-inch Mothra. GMK Mothra. I also have the 8-inch 1990, whoa, just dropped Mothra, the 8-inch 1992 Mothra, but that thing is way too big, and yeah, this I would say is accurate, so that's good. This is about the same size as the 8-inch Tokyo SOS and Final Wars Mothras. And I do have a Mothra larva, 1964, but as you can clearly see, not even putting her on the ground, she's too small. So yeah, next, here's the Monster Arts Kiryu 2002, just as a Kiryu comparison. And you can see, they're not meant to size up with each other at all. Like, I think when they made this, they didn't have in mind people wanting to size it with an 8-inch Kiryu, but just to give you a Kiryu comparison. Next, here's another 8-inch Godzilla, the Bandai GMK Godzilla, which I would say this is accurate, so there you go. They look good together. And then finally, the standard few figures. First up, we have SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1994 or 5 Rebirth, 95, idiot, 1995 Rebirth version. These don't size up accurately together in any way possible, but, you know, they still look good together, I guess. You know, well, no, they don't, but, you know, this is just to give you an idea of how big this guy looks, because you can just imagine, well, yeah, because he's fairly common figure. Just to show what he's like with his standard monster arts. And anyways, next, here's a NECA Godzilla 2014 6-inch version. And as you can see, dwarfed, again, by Kiryu. Not meant to size up with each other, just to give you an idea of how big he looks with him. Next, here is a standard Pacific Rim kaiju body. This being Axehead, and finally Axehead's head is actually in frame, and it's not just up to his shoulder. And I would say these two look okay together. I mean, they're not really that good in scale, but, you know, I mean, it looks good if you want to have Axehead fight, I don't know, Godzilla monsters, and not have them look ridiculously underscale like this. This would look okay. So, yeah. But, again, this is just to give you an idea, because NECA Pacific Rim figures are fairly common. Anyways, next, here's a standard Ultra Hero Series Ultraman. Again, just to give you an idea of how big this figure looks with this figure. And finally, of course, how could we ever forget him? My repainted Bandai Creation Final Wars Rodan. Very inaccurate, but, you know, just to give you an idea of how big this figure looks with this figure. As usual. And finally, on to the history of the figure and pricing. This figure was originally released in 2003 to coincide with the release of Godzilla, Mothra, and Mechagodzilla Tokyo SOS. And, well, the actual mold for this figure originated in 2002 for Godzilla x Mechagodzilla. And that one, we're not going to go into detail on the releases of that one, because I plan on getting that figure one day, so we'll just go into in-depth with the Tokyo SOS releases. You had a few standard releases. You had one fully armored with the booster rocket pack and both arm turrets and a normal hand. There was a theater exclusive of that figure and I think it was Ito Yukado department store exclusive version, may have been exclusive to something else, which was a translucent smoke gray vinyl. You also had a normal Kiryu, just like this Kiryu basically, but with no drill arm, so it was just the standard hand that was like that. And I don't know if there were any reissues of that one, and then you had obviously this one. And there was a reissue of this one in the Toys Dream Project Tokyo SOS box set, which had a Godzilla 2003 with blue, really pretty looking blue, chargy-uppy spines. And they are, you just have to see that. Just look it up. It's a really awesome looking figure. And obviously this had the damaged eye, and that was the only difference between this and the box set version. The box set had a resculpted head to feature the damaged eye and had a little bit of black spray around the cheekbone. And, well, yeah, and that also came with two little Mothra fairies. And the pricing on all of them, the drill arm version, this one, I've seen tagged for anywhere around $50 to $60. Well, mostly $60. The Toys Dream Project version, I've only seen loose, well, I've seen it loose a couple times for $30 without tag, so I would assume this guy without the tag would be less. I paid $30, and he didn't come with the tag. And the other versions, I'm not too sure. You may have to search around to find out for those. But, yeah. This guy, he's a fairly hard to find figure. I didn't find too many of them for sale, and at G-Fest I didn't see too many of this guy, but he was $30. I wanted a Kiryu to get signed. The only one I had was Monster Arts and a damaged Bandai Creation, so obviously I was gonna buy one there. I was hoping to find a theater exclusive, got this instead, and you know, works. I mean, I got the signatures anyway. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give this figure 8.5 out of 10. It's a good figure, just gets a little bit taken off. Well, you know what, fuck it, 9 out of 10. It's a pretty good figure, nice detail, nice paint application, and it sizes up pretty well with other 8-inch figures. So that's it for this review. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and...